The Harvard study of adult development is one of the longest longitudinal studies of all time. It began in 1938 and it's still running. It took a group of graduates from Harvard University and blue-collar workers. The scope, unbelievably ambitious, was to follow these individuals for their entire lives. And they have. Many of them have now died. Some of them are still alive. And so we have all this data. And the question really is, what would determine their flourishing, their success, financially, at work, their happiness, and their health? Now, back then, the assumption was it was going to be things like your social class, your genes, your finances, IQ, right? But there was something that was more important than all of that. There was one thing that determined your earnings more than anything else, that determined your happiness more than anything else, that determined even your health to an incredibly large degree. And that was the strength of your relationships. I just love that. Because, IQ you can't change very much. Your genes, you can't change. Your social class, yes, I guess you can change, but what determines whether you'll be able to change that, right, is your personal success. Your relationships, man, that is something we can all change. We are not born with our social skills. Our social skills develop, and if they developed really well, lucky you. If, like me, they didn't develop that well, great too, because you can acquire the skills to improve them. We spend so much of our lives, of our school careers, of our higher education, focusing on technical skills. And yes, that's important. We've got to be technically proficient at whatever our chosen profession is. And yet we neglect something that is at least as important, which is social skills. We just kind of take it for granted that you'll kind of get that right. But in fact, there is a way to build strong relationships. And there is a way that some people have that breaks down those relationships. Winning in life depends on knowing how to get along with people. There is no such thing as success without successful relationships. The road to gold is lined by people, friends, family members, customers, team members. If you cannot engage people, you cannot succeed. We look at Thomas Edison as this lone genius. Edison invented the light bulb with a team of 30 people. The Zulu have a saying, "Umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu." A person is only a person because of other people. This is the philosophy of Ubuntu. I am because we are. We've even discovered a part of the brain called the mirror neuron network, which shows that we actually mirror the emotions and the behavior of the people around us. We are way more interconnected than we realize. And it's clear to me that the reason happiness is so connected to relationships, and just think about it, when your relationships are in discord, when you're fighting with a friend, your partner, even I had a conflict with someone who was a distant colleague, and I was amazed at how much that conflict actually influenced my day-to-day emotional state, right? Because the brain, right, which has evolved to enable you to survive and thrive, knows that your relationships are so critical to your success, right? Because, if you are well liked, and people want to help you, and you can't do anything alone, so their help is absolutely essential. And if your brain senses that you are not liked, then your brain's going to say, this isn't going to feel so good, right? So the barometer of well-being is going to go down. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be liked by everyone. And sometimes, yes, you're not going to get on with someone. But here's what I know, is that most people who get married love each other. And nearly most people who get married will get divorced and hate each other. Now, that's the same people who loved each other who now hate each other. So that tells me it's not about the people, it's about what they do. Because when people first get married, they do very different things to when they're getting divorced. And so if we can start to change those behaviors, and the great thing is this is not difficult. It's something we all can do. In fact, I'm going to be sharing many of these tools with you through these videos. This is simple. But the first thing that we have got to do is just to know how important this is. To say, hey, I don't need anyone, I can get by on my own, is simply not true. Yes, you can get by on your own, but you will not be as happy, you will not be as healthy, and you will not be as successful. So if your relationships are not the way you want them to be, take responsibility. make the commitment to work on this, to educate yourself, and to take yourself to the next level so that you can have the kinds of relationships that determine your happiness, your health, and your success.